Okay, so this finished rendering. Let's load it back in. Let's watch. Oh, let's not view the other thing in the first input because it's gonna make it slower. Okay, so it's pretty cool. So what I also had was I had an additional sort of particle effect which we were like moving through. So in order to do that, we kind of need the same 3D camera. So what we can probably do is just load in the 3D camera that we have in our Houdini scene. So let's go in there, and then let's export this camera. Let's go File, Export, Alembic. Let's everything's crashing. Okay, let's get shake and yard cam. Then let's select an output path. So I guess let's I need to probably go to work. Power flip, where is it? Tutorial cam. Let's just call it shot cam t001.alembic. Let's just export our camera. All right. Okay, now we can load this camera back in, and we can use it to put some particle effects in the correct spot. Okay, so then let's go to File, Import, Alembic Scene. Then we have our shot cam here. Let's say Open. Then we get what do we want to open. So it says where we exported it from. What do we get? Our camera just dumps it down somewhere. So then we have a camera here. So if we highlight it, we get a 3D viewport. You see we have our camera moving. All right, let's make a particle emitter. Particle emitter, and let's do first do transform our camera down because it's in Houdini scene space. So let's make a transform 3D, and we need to probably scale it down to 0.01. So then it's there in the center, so it's probably a little bit better. We have our particle emitter here. Let's go to this thing and let's do a merge. And let's say merge 3D. And in merge 3D, we can merge in our, oh no, we need to do particle render. Particle render, so that will render the particles, and then we can merge them in. Merge 3D. And we can go to camera properties. So now you can see we're looking through the camera, so we have the same camera movement that we had. And let's save in the meantime. So we don't really want, of course, just this emitter. So let's just have a look at some settings that I had. So we can change a whole bunch of parameters on that thing. So let's say we want, I have to look through this. As I mentioned, I'm relatively new to using Fusion. So we don't want to use a sphere, we want to use a cube. We want it to be a lot bigger. All right, and that's in the emitter. Let's, I guess, crank up the amount of points. And then let's add turbulence. Maybe a little bit less strength. Now we get a couple of moving particles. Okay, so maybe we don't want just to be dots, so we can say change style. So P change style. So generally all of the particle effects start with P, so you can also go to tools and then I think under particles, you have a whole bunch of stuff here, so you can build some cool setups. But you can see there's a whole bunch of stuff that it can be. So let's make it a bitmap. Take a little bit. So maybe we want to load in a texture. So I just have a smoke puff texture here. So that's just this thing. Let's plug it in. Gonna be a lot slower. Go to our merge 3D. Oh no, they're a little bit too big probably. Right, so let's go to size controls. Change down our size by a lot. So let's see, fade controls, fade in, fade out. Probably want them to be a little bit smaller. Just playing around with these settings, like I haven't used a lot of this stuff before. I was mostly compositing inside of After Effects before I got Fusion Studio, even though I did use it a couple of times before, but now I've been trying to do most of my compositing inside of Fusion. Right, so some points. I think they should probably be even smaller. I really just want super small points. Let's do a little bit of variance. Yep. Yeah, variance is probably way too much. Okay, so we have some points. Maybe let's just say something like this. Okay, so now we need to, of course, we cannot really merge this in because this is now a 3D scene. Because of course we can also, like if we say right click, go to perspective, and you can still move through this. So we need to render this out just like you would with a regular 3D scene. So what we'll do is select this, type render, render 3D. So what that will do is it will render it out to an image. So you can see now it's just going to be a flat image. And by the way, my smoke buff for some reason is not taking up the alpha. Let's just have a look in here. Okay, so it does have the alpha, so why is it not? Let's change the... Oh, okay, now it is working. Yeah, okay, now this is fine. I'm not sure what happened there. Okay. It's just when it's displaying, it's just acting a little bit weird. All right, anyway, so we need to render this. Let's go put it to OpenGL. So there's a couple of different rendering engines. I need to check out how this works again, but we want to include more channels. We also want to include Z-space, because then we can use depth blur later. So if you then afterwards use depth blur, then we have some controls over sort of some depth of field in there. So we're not going to do yet. We're first just going to render this out as sort of an image sequence. Let's just put a saver. And call it particles. Let's just save those out. Let's we need to disable our other savers. And let's render. Boop. Oh, one more thing. Cancel. We need to change our resolution, by the way, because I did put the render, but of course we haven't told this thing to be the proper resolution. So resolution of our image is 2112 by 1188. So I guess we could just match it, or we could make it a little bit bigger. Let's choose 2112. So I render with overscan on my original render because we're going to do some more camera shake later. Okay, so now we can actually render. So let's do that.